Start making your way to the stage now. Start making your way to the stage.
What you just saw there was a car event. I'm big into import cars, but anyway, let's do a quick video about my teeth. All right, so an update on my teeth. Those teeth is what I'm talking about. It's I don't know how long it's been based on this recording, but I guess 2 days, yeah, 2 days from this recording. I don't know how long it'll be in YouTube time, but it's got to be at least 3 or 4 months since I had my teeth done, and I decided it'd probably be a good idea to do a quick update. I've had various questions on my other social media, not necessarily my YouTube, because YouTube is my channel is fairly new, but so let's go over some of those things and hopefully address a lot of questions that people may have. One of the bigger questions that I generally get is how much they cost. This will probably vary depending on where you're at. Here in the US, it even varies within states. I've seen some videos online saying, or even on YouTube, saying that they've paid, $100 and down to even $75 a tooth. My teeth were not that cheap. Some of these videos are old and prices have increased pretty significantly in even the last several months. So my advice is look around and get estimates on dentists that are willing to do this procedure, because that's the other thing. Not every dentist is willing to do these. So get various estimates from different dentists in your area and then go about it that way. One thing that I try to do is I try to look up experts in a particular field of whatever I'm doing and compare prices to that. For example, these teeth, I would consider a dentist that goes by the name of Father Sebastian to be an expert. And his price on these are $1,200 for the pair, if I remember right, or at least the last time I remember checking a site. So as long as my prices on wherever I go stay under that, because the dentists that I would be seeing aren't experts in this type of procedure, I would say. They don't specialize in just doing these teeth every day, where Father Sebastian is technically considered a specialist in these type of teeth. So that's kind of where I would go in regards to pricing and how I would go about determining whether you are going to be paying the right price for this process. The next thing is your bite. Your bite will probably change a little bit. As I guess in general, humans have this motion with their jaw like that as you clamp down. So you're doing this like grinding motion back and forth. Ignore my fingernails, I haven't done them and they're kind of messed up. The polish is coming off. So as you do this motion back and forth, you're kind of grinding back and forth. And so when you are like chewing, you're not technically just going up and down like that. So you do have to incorporate that when you get this process done, which should be done by your dentist. Otherwise, If it's not, you're going to have to adjust to your bite and chewing. Even though mine have that are spaced and done to incorporate my bottom jaw fairly well, there were still, because mine are super long, there were still some adjustments I had to make. And the first 2 days of me having these teeth, I've had them in the past, but not this long. These were like the longest I've ever had them. Um, it did cause a little bit, like the first 2 days. I was, I don't know why I felt like they were glass. I was worried that, like, if I bumped into them, because I was bumping into them a lot, that they were going to break. So that was a concern of mine. And to some extent, it almost gave me anxiety the first 2 days of attempting to eat anything because I was constantly bumping into them. So, but now I'm used to them. Now I bite into anything really, and I know how far my jaw needs to travel in the chewing motion to or grinding motion, that I'm not bumping into them anymore. Um, the first like week or so of sleeping, that was also a little bit difficult. Not necessarily because just sleeping in general, but because in my sleep, I would wake myself up because again, my jaw would bump into them, and I would be like, I don't know, it was just weird. Like I would go back and forth with my jaw at times in my sleep. I would bump into them, and it would wake me up. So, and it would wake me up because my concern was I didn't want to break them. So that's the other thing. The next thing is my teeth are done with bonding, and bonding is a little more fragile than veneers. So you can't bite into things like apples or um, things that would cause a lot of stress to your teeth, especially since mine are so long. I have to be extra careful with that. So that was one other thing I had to incorporate in regards to eating. Like a quick change that I did have to make in regards to you know even not necessarily just chewing, but the type of food or how I was going to um, go about chewing that food. So now that it's been about 3 or 4 months, what my teeth are, let's talk about what I've experienced with them in regards to their actual shape and their structure and how they're holding up now. Um, this one, no problems whatsoever. Well, not necessarily no problems, but just on the very top uh, part closest to my gum, when or my gums, I should say, a little piece like chipped off, and when I would run floss up there, I couldn't get the floss back out. So I had to go back to the dentist to have them like smooth that part that chipped off. This one over here, I think just the tip was just a little more fragile than normal. So a tiny piece of my tip, and like let me get closer. See, it's not even noticeable. A tiny piece though did chip off, and so it's a little bit smaller than this tooth now, lengthwise. It's not the biggest thing, but if you are OCD, it probably will get to you because I do feel it in my mouth as I talk. My teeth bump into my bottom lip, and I will notice that this tooth bumps into my lip before this one over here does. Also, on this one, there's a little dip on like here because the bonding was just so thin that just a piece just flaked off. Um, Nothing structural is a big issue again, but I noticed it on my lip. This one makes my lip stick out a little bit more than this side does. Nah, not the biggest concern with both of them. Obviously, if it was a bad enough concern, I'd go and get them redone right now. Um, but other than that, they're holding up really well. Um, they are a these this pair is done with bonding, so it's semi-permanent, meaning it can be reshaped as of right now. However they are right now, they can be reshaped, so on and so forth. They can be completely removed, so it's just my regular teeth are just there. But these were a test and are a test for a more long-term procedure that I'm going to undergo. And the more long-term procedure is veneers, and those ones, if you do get them, they technically have to be drilled out and everything like that. Um, these ones aren't, again, they're semi-permanent, so they're not as complex to remove if you change your mind later on. The reason I went with these instead of veneers right off the bat is one, veneers cost a lot more, but that's not really why I went with these the first right off the bat. It was more of like, again, the testing period. But two, I'm not 100% sure on what shape I want these to permanently be. So mine aren't like really sharp, like they're kind of like an almond shape. And I need to determine what I want them to look like long term. So I wasn't 100% sold where with these, I can kind of have them reshaped as time goes on, and I can determine what is a perfect shape and ideally what I want for as long as I have teeth. Um, the second thing is I need to have my bottom teeth spread out, and because currently they're kind of cramped right over on this side, before I can have a permanent solution and permanent teeth on that are just going to be like that forever, I need to have my teeth spread out because the top ones will also need to be spread out a tiny bit as well. And so that is why I couldn't jump to that just yet. I will be undergoing the procedure to get my teeth spread out here soon. Um, it's just going to be invisible retainers that are just going to spread out my teeth. So, saying that much, if you are simply just trying to get fangs for a temporary period amount of, or like a temporary amount of time, then bonding is definitely a way to go. They will have chips and things like that will happen. You'll have to get them redone. Um, and who knows how often that will happen. But in my experience, whatever's occurred to my teeth hasn't been drastic enough where I'm like, dang, my tooth broke in half. I need to have that entire tooth completely redone. So for me, I feel that if you were trying to just get a semi-permanent solution, I feel bonding would be the way to go. If you're only trying to have them for like a year, a couple of years, so on and so forth. If you're trying to have them for the rest of your life, but like, and your teeth are straight and you don't need to do other procedures to your teeth, um, then I would probably say veneers is the way to go right off the bat because you will end up paying close to the same amount as you would pay for veneers every time that you have to repair these. Um, from my understanding, you can't just like, okay, for example, the part of my tip that just chipped off, you can't just remake the tip. You have to redo the entire tooth again. So, and you're going to have to be paying for that, um, the work that's going to be done as if you're, you know, just like if you were getting them done the very first time again. The next thing is attention. So if you were to be doing this because you like attention, just keep in mind they're not going to be noticeable from a distance, like something like, if your hair is a different color, or you wear a certain type of clothing to, stand out. It's not going to be like that. If you, but, you know that when you do talk, people will notice them. So as you open your mouth, they're going to be noticed. So you are going to get questions about them. If you are like me, that just do things for you, and you don't really care about people's opinions about you, and you know opinions are irrelevant to you, and attention is not what you're into, then this might be a little challenging for you, because everywhere you go, if you open your mouth, there's a high possibility that, again, you're going to get asked questions about them. Right now, it's not, I only mostly see it at like things like the dentist, for example. When there's new personnel, they ask me about so on and so forth. But because of the pandemic, it's the norm right now is to always be wearing a mask, and so now I'm able to go into government buildings, banks, whatever, with my masks, and I'm like these, and I'm not like, it's not questioned, or like I'm not forced to remove them or anything like that, and so that doesn't lead to people asking questions about the teeth. So that's the next thing with attention. They will obviously, if you are employed somewhere, your coworkers will notice them. um, I don't know of any job that would have an issue with them, but obviously, if you're going to be doing some sort of job where you are seeing individuals or people on a regular basis, and the pandemic passes, and you no longer, it's your company doesn't want you using masks or whatever, um, it might be troublesome for you. And so just kind of be aware of that. So, in conclusion, for me, I do not regret getting my teeth done whatsoever. Um, they don't, the changes that I've had to make for them is not been impactful enough in my life to even remotely consider them as a negative. In fact, here in the near future, it is going to take a while for my teeth to be fully, for my bottom teeth to be fully to where they need to be, I guess. But I do plan to have these permanently done, and they will just be like that forever. One thing I need to still do is determine what I'm going to do with the two teeth next to the bigger ones. I had a deadline set for myself to get those modified by in 3 months from now. But the longer I take to get my bottom teeth spread out, the longer it's going to take for me to have the permanent forever teeth. And so I'm probably going to delay that as well. But I think for me, the next step after my teeth are straightened out on the bottom is that I will be getting these four. So my fangs, the ones closest to my fangs on coming inward, those four teeth will be just, I will go with a veneer solution, and they will just be permanently like that forever. So do I recommend these teeth? I don't really know. Like, I mean, if you're into something like this, like, definitely go into, go talk to a dentist and see if that's the other thing. Not every dentist does it. So, you're gonna have to search for a dentist. But once you find them, talk to them, see what your options are, and see what you can do. And then, if it's something that you think will be good for you, then do it. If it's not, or if you have a lot of questions, then I would probably suggest you don't mess with your natural teeth that you have and just kind of, you know, maybe there's a lot of places out there that make fake ones that you just put over your teeth. There's a lot of people out there that will create them for you. So I had some of those for 2 years while I didn't have any sort of modification on my teeth. So I would probably go that route. Those you can wear them for you know 15-20 minutes to 6 hours or whatever, and then pull them back out, and you're good. You're back to just your normal self. You don't have to adjust anything in the way you eat, the way you chew, nothing like that. Or you don't have to pay a lot of money. I know some of those fake teeth are, if they're done by someone that does them continuously, they are going to charge you a little bit, but it's not definitely going to be as much as what a dentist would charge you. In my very first video about my teeth, I said that there wasn't going to be very many updates and I wasn't going to be creating a lot of videos about this. And that kind of still is the case, but there are going to be now more videos than I originally had thought in my mind that I would have. I thought maybe 3 of them, and then in 6 months from when I originally got my teeth done, I would have the last 2, and then that would be the end of it. But based on how I have to get my teeth spread out before I can go with a permanent solution, so on and so forth, or a permanent setup, then it's going to take some time, and there might be more updates. So we'll see how these hold out through like the spreading of my teeth process. Also, now they're going to be like that a much longer time, and I don't know that if they were to accidentally break when I have the Invisalign, or not Invisalign, I probably shouldn't say that because I don't even know what company is going to do it. But if they were to break while I have the invisible retainers in, I don't know like what I would have to do in that situation, because there's castings of these retainers and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of questions that will probably come up as time progresses, and so there might be more videos that I will probably upload, but they won't be frequent because again, it's been 3 months since this update, and the next time I'm scheduled to even see my dentist is 6 months from now, and if I was to only just do a regular checkup. So I guess let's just kind of leave that there. And so if you have any questions, or if you like the videos, or if you want to keep up on what I will eventually upload, then feel free to subscribe. But outside of that, thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves.